Morning, folks. Day soap is, or actually shaving cream, is brought to us from Art of Shaving. This one here is Eucalyptus. This is my first Art of shaving cream that I have used. That's what it looks like there on the inside. Very nice eucalyptus scent. We'll be following up with the Stirling, of course, Eucalyptus Mint. And I've got it whipped up here in a bowl. It's definitely on the wet side. Pretty much works well for me. This brush here is a Century brush that was brought back to life by Strike Gold Shave. And the blade of choice today is a Crown. It's a pre-cut blade, and I'm using the Focus Slim, all aluminum here. My nose is itching, of course. Excuse me. The preferred blade that is mentioned to use in this particular shaver is one that is a DE blade snapped in half, as opposed to a pre-cut blade like the one I'm using right now. This one here, though, I haven't had any problems with this blade. I've been using this blade for over a week. It has some glue dots, and I think that's what helps a little bit. But the reason why I think they're preferring to use a DE blade snapped in half is that those curved ends provides enough tension on the sliding mechanism there to keep it in place. And I already put a hot towel to the face this morning and used coconut oil for my pre-shave oil. And if you're wondering what all that is about, me and Tony, we got tangled up and had a slip and fall with Tony. Tony is our German Shepherd. He's still very much puppy-like, I guess you might say. But anyway, I'll go ahead and get started here. As it goes for, I guess you might say, what's been going on with me. I've been a week ago, this past weekend, today being Monday, Saturday I had a birthday party to go to, and plus I was fighting off a headache. And then Saturday, a week ago, this past Saturday, I got pretty sick, and just really took me a while to, I guess you might say, recover from being ill. Even though I was able to go back to work on that following Monday, but just, I guess you might say, never really quite 100%. Doing somewhat better today, so hopefully this is going to be a good week. At least it's starting out pretty good. The scent, definitely, I can't complain about the scent. It's not, in my opinion, at least for my nose, it's not overpowering, but it's definitely present. It's not over the top. It does have a very nice cooling effect by the time the shave is done and over with. I did experiment with talking about order of operations. I did experiment with something off camera during my shaves. Typically, you wet your face before you get started, and then you do a rinse in between each one, in between each pass. And for me, one day I got up a little bit late. Of course, I wasn't feeling all that great, so I woke up late, got started late, and was, I guess you might say, kind of sort of hurrying through my shave, and decided that I would give it a try of not rinsing in between passes with this particular shave cream. Worked out just fine. It went faster. It was nice and quick. And I should mention also the post-shave feel with the shaving cream is really nice. I got the shaving cream at Marshall's. I got this one here, and I got a peppermint one. And I got it at Marshall's. And one of them was $8, and the other one was $10, which is not too terribly bad for 5 ounces of shaving cream. And especially since this usually retails somewhat more, thought I got a pretty good bargain. But I was kind of surprised, and I'm thinking it has a lot to do with the shaving cream. Is that I guess you might say the no rinse pass in between the passes, the no rinsing. I was kind of surprised that it did so well. Just something that I thought I'd throw out there. And I do have 2 days worth of growth, I should say. This blade, these blades came with, trying to make sure I don't cut myself talking at the same time. These blades came by the way of Razor Rock when I ordered the Eco, and it came with a whole box of them. Matter of fact, it's these blades right here, and if you can't tell, these are by the way of Lord, and really surprised for me how well they work. I'd never tried them before until I got that razor. Pretty nice blades, pretty smooth. Worked well for me. I was kind of surprised. I haven't watched very many videos. Just not, like I say, haven't been feeling all that great. So it's some days it's just trying to make it through the day. But I did catch a few of them. I'm still working on deciding what to do with the camera issue, if you will. Um, what I'm using right now is a camera that's primarily designed to take still pictures, but it also will take videos. So I got this big camera right here staring back at me, and I was thinking about trying to get something smaller that works well for me. And I've had my eye on another still camera, if you will. That has a screen that flips around so you can see what's going on. This one here, I've got a mirror over here I have to look at in order to see what's going on in the frame. But I had given it some thought, and I'd have to see whether or not this particular camera, if I can link it up to my cell phone and kind of sort of like almost do the same thing with from what I've seen with the GoPro. GoPro, depending on what model you got, it's got a screen on the back side also. So if I got one like that, it would definitely be smaller, not quite so much for me to have to work around. But I'd still end up having to use a mirror to be able to see what from in the frame or not. But I'm assuming that my video would be better. I know with this camera the audio is a lot better. Biggest gripe is that this thing records in you've heard of JPEG and MPEG. Well, this is an MPEG, that's what it records in. And my old camera recorded in AVI. And I got plenty enough shaving cream for a whole nother shave. AVI for me seems to upload a whole lot quicker than an MPEG. MPEG seems like it takes a whole lot longer. And sometimes, when you're running a little bit behind or you try to do this before you go to work like I usually do, upload is quite important on how long it takes. What I don't know is if the in between the two recording formats, that if it even really matters on, the quality. As far as I know, it's still the same. I guess you might say a lot of tech stuff today. Like I say, I've been shaving with this setup for over a week now, and I'm quite used to it. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's been a while, up until this past week, since I had done a shavette shave, and it was pretty nice to come back to the shaver. My next setup that I've got for my next shave is going to be with it's another Focus shavette with the Art of Shaving peppermint. But it's one that's a bit cheaper than this one here. Run you about 15 bucks, thereabouts. I think this one here, I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'll have a link down below. Hate to see how much it is and be way off. And if you're kind of new to this channel, typically I'm a daily shaver. I don't miss very many days shaving. Usually if I do miss a day of shaving, it's because I'm not feeling well. Otherwise, got to get my shave in. Too much fun. This is what it looks like. Don't think I really showed a whole lot at the very beginning, but this is a very well balanced shaver. It will set. I can set it up, on a flat surface like this. It lays flat. Doesn't weigh much of anything. So if you're traveling, it's great for that sort of thing. I'm gonna see if I can do this without. Got soap all over it. Here we go. See if that doesn't work out. You can kind of see that the blade is already coming out. It's just a sliding mechanism. And there's the blade. Like I said, it's really simple. The focus dynamic works off the same kind of principle when it comes for a sliding mechanism. For me, I don't have any problems with it. In the beginning, I thought it would when I first saw it, and it took me quite a while to order one because I was really thinking that sliding mechanism was just not going to work well. Then it'd come loose during the shave. And like I said, I have been using pre-cut blades for quite a while with this shaver, and haven't had any issues with it coming loose on me. But they do suggest that you use DE blades that are snapped in half. So it is something to think about if you decide to order one of these, is that you might want to start with a DE blade snapped in half until you get really good and comfortable with it. Because I'm assuming the tolerance on these are pretty tight, and assuming that they're pretty close across each shaver. In other words, your shaver may not be quite as the tolerance may not be quite as tight as mine. And so far, because I've had mine for a while, I haven't had any issues over time of it getting loose on me. Just something to think about if you're looking at a shaver like this. I've used DE blade snapped in half and it works just fine. It's just, I guess you might say, a preference. I've already got them pre-cut. It's just nice to be able to pull out the blade out of the box and then install it into your shaver. Here's my alum block, what's left of it. I still have, this is a Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, if you couldn't hardly tell from here. Back when this was new, it came with a rubber band, blue one, and I had this for quite some time, and it's getting kind of hard to hold on to, so been thinking here pretty soon I might want to go ahead and transition to one that's easier to hang on to. Depends on where you're at with your shaving with the shavette, your technique. For me, I have a tendency to get a little bit more, how can you say, aggressive on the against the grain pass. And usually right here or here, I'll end up with a little bit of stinging. I guess you might say my eagerness to make sure I get that shaved pretty well. And just got a little bit right there, but not much. It's like I say, this shaving cream does really well with the post shave. I still got some left. This is what's left of my Humphreys, and it's got peppermint and menthol in it. More peppermint than menthol, and I guess you might say nice for the cooling effect at the end of the shave. I do use the alum with the witch hazel. It works better than if I use the alum by itself. Alum has a tendency to dry my face out, and even just after one try, in other words, I can tell a big difference in how my face felt. But if I follow it up with the witch hazel, my face feels so much better using the two together. So that's what I do. I know it also has been recommended that just even using the shaving cream or your shaving soap, and not to follow up with an alum or a witch hazel. It just depends on what you would like, what works best for you. This one here has a little bit of alcohol in it, but I have not had, I can't think of the last time I've had any real experience of an alcohol burn, if you will. In other words, that kind of that eye opener. Now this, I will say, after you get done with a shave like this, and using an aftershave that's got eucalyptus in it or menthol, that you want to make sure you wash your hands. I say that because if you got eyes like mine, they start to itch from time to time, and you do not want this in your eyes. No way, no how. I can even feel it on my hands, the cooling effect. Had a really nice shave this morning. Base feels wonderful. Like I said, this got this at Marshall's. Good stuff here. Really can't complain about it at all. I do prefer to get it at the cheaper price. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe in the smooth shaves.